You don't happen to life. Life happens as you. It's a simple sentence, but if you really feel it, everything begins to dissolve. Your worries, your ambitions, even the idea of you doing anything at all. You see, we've been trained to think of life as something out there, a stage upon which we appear for a brief performance. We come on, take our part, try not to forget our lines, and hope the audience approves before the curtain falls. But what if the stage and the actor are one and the same? What if there was never a line between you and what's happening? Only the illusion of one. You are not standing outside the river of life, trying to steer it, trying to push against its flow. You are the current itself. The sensation of being separate from that movement, the feeling that you are in life rather than life itself, is the root of every confusion. Think of breathing. You might say, I breathe. But have you ever tried to stop breathing completely, to truly control it? It becomes awkward, forced, mechanical. The body seems to say, enough of this nonsense, and resumes its own rhythm. You don't breathe. Breathing happens as you. The same is true for thoughts. You don't sit somewhere behind your eyes manufacturing them like a factory worker. They arise, shimmer, and fade, uninvited, unowned. Thoughts think themselves, and yet we say, I think, as if we were the little engineer inside the skull, turning mental cogs. But where is that engineer? Have you ever found it? You may search from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. No thinker, no doer, no little me inside the machinery. There's only the movement, the heartbeat, the pulse, the bubbling of sensations, the shimmering of awareness. So when I say that life happens as you, I mean that the tree doesn't bear fruit for the tree. It simply fruits. The ocean doesn't make waves for some purpose. It simply waves. And in the same way, you don't live for something. You simply live. Now this realization sounds simple enough, but it has a funny way of making the ego nervous. Because the ego thrives on the idea of doing, of making things happen, of controlling outcomes, of achieving and preventing and steering. To the ego, surrender sounds like death. And in a way, it is. The death of the illusion that there was ever a you apart from the happening. When the rain falls, it doesn't say, I'm falling. It just falls. When fire burns, it doesn't declare, I'm burning. It just burns. And when you feel joy or sorrow, when you laugh or cry, it's not a little person making emotions occur. It's the universe expressing itself through this particular form, in this particular moment. And yet, what a marvelous illusion it creates. This dance of pretending to be someone who does things. Without that, there'd be no play, no story, no tension to resolve. Life is not trying to wake you from the illusion, but through it. Like music that finds its beauty in the interplay of sound and silence. The melody isn't separate from the instrument. The dancer isn't apart from the dance. The wave isn't distinct from the sea. You are not apart from life. You are what life is doing right now, as this breath, this heartbeat, this thought, this listening. And when that is seen, not understood intellectually, but seen as plainly as the sunrise, the burden drops. The struggle to make life work suddenly feels absurd, like trying to help the sun rise faster. Because you don't have to make it happen. It already is. And it's happening as you. There's a certain relief in that, isn't there? To know that you don't have to push the river anymore. That all along, you were the river, dreaming of being the swimmer. But old habits die hard. We've been taught since childhood to take life by the horns, to grab it, wrestle it, master it. Be the author of your destiny, they said. Yet who is the you supposed to be doing the authoring? Watch carefully. You didn't choose your birth, your parents, your first breath. You didn't design the beating of your heart, or the taste of coffee, or the thought that's appearing right now as you hear these words. You didn't even choose your desire to be in control. It arose uninvited, just like everything else. And still, you try to grasp the steering wheel, to make sure life doesn't veer into chaos. You try to be the pilot of the infinite. But that's like a wave trying to control the tide. The truth is, you are not a separate pilot. You are the motion itself. Every choice you make, every word you say, every mistake you regret, every triumph you celebrate, all of it is the unfolding of the same mysterious process that turns acorns into oaks, stars into galaxies, and silence into laughter. Life isn't something you manage. It's something that is. Now, that doesn't mean you must become passive or indifferent. That's another trick of the mind. When you realize life happens as you don't sit back like a puppet without strings. You move, you love, you act, you decide, but without the tension of control. Like a bird flying without asking how it flies. The beauty of this understanding is that it removes the conflict between effort and surrender. Because when life moves through you, your effort is also effortless. It's like dancing to music you didn't compose but can't help but move to. You may have noticed this in moments of deep absorption, when you lose yourself in music, art, or love. There's no you there making it happen. The doing and the being are one. That's why the artist says, it painted itself. The writer says, it wrote through me. The lover says, we disappeared. Those are not poetic exaggerations. They're glimpses of how life always works when the illusion of the separate doer drops away. It's the same in the small things. Washing dishes, tying shoelaces, watching sunlight flicker through leaves. You're not standing behind the eyes giving orders. The universe is simply doing you, as it does wind or rain or flame. And when you let that be, when you truly stop insisting that you must make life happen, something extraordinary unfolds. You find yourself in harmony with everything, not because you've achieved balance, but because you were never out of it. The bird doesn't practice being aerodynamic. The flower doesn't plan to bloom. The wave doesn't need therapy to remember how to rise and fall. And you, my friend, don't need to fix life to live it. You simply need to remember that you are it. Let's look a little closer at why we forget this. The ego, that little voice that says I, is a marvelous invention of life itself, a sort of local identity badge. It allows life to play a game of hide and seek with itself. Through it, life says, I am this, not that. I am here, not there. I am me, not you. It's not evil or wrong. It's part of the play. But when the game is taken seriously, when the mask forgets it's a mask, the suffering begins. The character starts believing it's running the story. It thinks it must control, achieve, protect, and understand. Otherwise, everything will fall apart. But notice how exhausting that becomes. You keep trying to push a wheel that's already spinning. You try to lift yourself by your own shoelaces, and sooner or later, something gives. A crisis, a heartbreak, a loss, and you realize you were never in charge to begin with. That's not failure. That's grace. Because in that collapse of control, the truth sneaks in quietly. Like dawn through a half-open curtain. You see that life isn't happening to you or by you. It's happening as you. And suddenly the boundaries soften. The trees seem more alive. The faces of strangers glow with a peculiar familiarity. Even pain becomes strangely intimate, not as an enemy, but as another flavor of the same existence. You start to sense that there is no inside and outside, that the breath going in is the air going out, that the eyes looking at the world are the world looking at itself. That's when control transforms into cooperation. Not because you learned how to surrender, but because surrender was always what was happening. You see, life doesn't ask for your permission to be what it is. It doesn't check in with you before blooming a rose or breaking a wave. It doesn't require your approval to bring a storm or a sunrise. And yet, when you stop fighting it, everything feels as if it's finally in your favor. That's the paradox. The moment you give up trying to make life happen, it begins to move through you effortlessly, because it always was. You realize you were never the sculptor of existence, but the clay and the sculpting and the sculptor all at once. This realization doesn't make life easier, necessarily, but it makes it lighter. You still pay bills, feel hunger, lose people, fall in love, age, and die. But it all happens without the constant friction of me against the world. Instead, it's life as this moment. Even the struggle becomes part of the song. The minor notes, the pauses, the dissonance, all essential to the beauty of the melody. When you see that, gratitude arises naturally. Not the gratitude that says thank you for what it likes, but the deeper gratitude that says yes to everything. Yes to joy, yes to sorrow, yes to uncertainty. Because the you saying yes is not the little person. It's life itself echoing in awareness, recognizing its own music. And that's the freedom hidden in plain sight. Not the freedom to control life, but the freedom of being what life is doing. When that's clear, even the most ordinary things become luminous. You can sit quietly and feel the pulse in your hands and realize, this isn't my heartbeat. It's the heartbeat of the cosmos, drumming through a form it calls me. When you walk through a busy street, the cars, the faces, the lights, all of it, are not happening to you. They're happening as the vast field in which you appear and disappear every moment. That's what I mean when I say you don't happen to life. You are life, momentarily dreaming itself as a person, pretending to be a part, playing the divine game of hide and seek. And what a wonderful game it is. Without forgetting, there could be no remembering. Without the illusion of separation, there could be no joy in reunion. Without the clouds, the sun would be invisible. So perhaps the invitation isn't to escape the dream, but to wake up within it, to see the whole performance as the dance of life happening as you. Then the struggle to be spiritual, to get enlightened, to fix yourself, fades away. Not because you've become perfect, but because you see that perfection was never the point. Life doesn't bloom to become better. It blooms because that's what blooming is. And you, this breath, this awareness, this laughter, and this tear, are part of that same blossoming. When you see that, fear loses its teeth. Because what could life fear except itself? What could it lose when it never truly owned anything? Even death, that old phantom we've tried so hard to outwit, becomes just another gesture of the dance. The inhale turning into the exhale, the wave returning to the sea. And perhaps, as you sit with that, you realize there was never anything to attain, nothing to hold, nothing to let go. Only this eternal movement, playing itself as sunrise and sunset, birth and decay, silence and sound, all of it equally sacred. So the next time you find yourself saying, I'm trying to make my life work, pause. Feel the absurdity, the beauty of it, the wave trying to fix the ocean, the wind trying to control the sky. Then let the laughter rise. Because in that laughter, the whole illusion trembles, and life laughs through you. For it was never you trying to live life. It was always life, trying on the mask of you. And in this moment, right now, it's doing it perfectly.